Hello, it's Sunday the 4th of October. It's 9 o'clock British time, so as ever, I am here to take your questions live if you've got any. I'll just do a quick review of what I've been doing this week, but of course you can jump in anytime if you'd like to ask me anything. So one of the things that's happened is these worksheets have gone live. These worksheets are about rounding decimals. They've been created by the fabulous Jeff Kutcher, locked down in Spain as ever. And they're incredibly visual. What children have to do, this is the year 4 worksheet. There's 3 worksheets. They're really carefully structured to match year 4, year 5, year 6. You need to place the number on the number line. So this 12.1, we'd draw an arrow, just do this down here, just to there. 12.1 to 12.1 on the number line, and then when we're rounding it to the nearest whole number, we can really talk about where the whole numbers are and which one it's nearest to. So we're taking children through those visual steps that are going to help them deeply understand what's going on. And when you're working in this visual way, all the maths links together because you're developing children's understanding of the number line while you're doing rounding, and that understanding of the number line is going to feed into so many other things. Hi, I can see there are some people watching. If you'd like to say hi, that'd be lovely. If you've any questions, I'm really happy to stop and take your questions. As the worksheets get harder, we've got some that expose the double rounding error. So we've got here round 111.47 to the nearest whole number. So if I put that on, 111.47, if I put that on here, so if anyone just put a comment, I just missed it because if I look down, I do. So if you've got a question, if you could type it again, because I haven't got the rig to scroll back to previous questions. 111.47, 111.4, and then 7. This all links to the rounding decimals video. So once you've placed it on the number line correctly by thinking 111.4 and then a little bit extra, but it's still less than 111.5, you can see it's closest to 111. Now the problem with these is that children often look at the 7 and round the 4 up to a 5. And some people... Brilliant, thanks Jane. And some people teach children by drill. Rounding is where you look at the next digit, and if it's 5 or more you go up, and you mustn't look at any more digits. And there is a time and a place for drills like that, but it needs to come after the understanding and the structure. If you teach children the drill first, then they learn maths as recipes and spells, and they can't be creative and inventive, and they're not connecting their maths together, and they're not getting that incredible efficiency that comes from working on the structures and connecting all their maths into the structures. As I've said before, it's when you teach children structures, it's like you've taken them to a new area, and instead of just giving them a sat nav that'll take them on specific routes and get them where they want to go, you're showing them the map. So that and you're teaching them about the map, and the map here is the number line. And so when you give them specific routes, like look at the next digit, is it 5 or more? If it's not, then you round. If it's not, then you round down. If it is, then you round up. Don't look at the next digit. They're clicking that route into a map and enhancing their understanding of the map, and gradually everything knits together, and they become able to puzzle out routes for themselves and correct themselves if they get lost. And if they're only shown the sat-nav routes, if they're only shown the procedures, they never do that. And they never start to get that efficiency, that creativity with maths that some children have got. So this is all about unpicking it and knowing why some children have got that and some children haven't. So this week I finished the series 3. These are 4 series for children aged 7 to 11, so for juniors. The first one was the catch-up for the children who are really struggling to access the maths for that age group. The second was number age 7 to 9. This one was being number aged 9 to 11, but we've also covered proportion, fractions, decimals, percentage, ratio. And the last 3 videos, 2 of them are live, one of them's going live at 9:30 today, are all about the algebra and how you can teach the algebra in ways that consolidate the whole of all of primary number work. So that was a huge relief when I got that done. I was aiming to get that done by the end of September to be on track to finish all the videos for the 7 to 11 age range this year. And I'm busy working on the structures for the final series, which is about the applied maths, the shape, position, data, and what's the other one? Shape, position, data, measure. That's it. So I did have an approximate list of how I would do those videos, but I've just been cutting and pasting the whole curriculum and puzzling with it to make sure it flows as fluently as it possibly can and it thoroughly puzzles everything, covers everything. So what I'm trying to do there is create videos that cover a topic for the whole of primary maths. So when we're doing weight, I'll cover the whole span. So for teachers like in year 5 and year 6, they can divvy the topics between them and cover them fully and properly, or a teacher picking up in year 6, or any teacher teaching at any stage, they know the whole journey, so they can talk about the whole journey with children. It's so much more efficient if you can. With national curriculums, they've tended to hyper-fragment things like length so that there's a tiny little extra bit each year. And it doesn't really make sense that way. It's not really efficient. It's much better to put it all back together and train teachers to understand the whole topic holistically. So that's what I'll be trying to do. Hi, I can see there's still quite a few people watching. If you have any questions, please say. I'd love to take your questions. I called this video Thinking Fast and Slow, and that's partly a reflection on the book I was reading last week, the Jeff Fawkes, When Teachers Work Together, and partly a reflection on the journey with this YouTube channel, because until lockdown was building a really nice audience, a community of people who were engaging with this and taking the journey with me, and that was such a privilege and such joy, and the viewership was good. And then that just ended. And I think the essence of that is that to engage with this kind of professional development, teachers need to be relaxed and free to think slowly. And they just aren't. They're just way, way, way too stressed. So even though this kind of teaching is more important and more relevant than ever, this doesn't mean that teachers are able to engage with it. The stress levels in schools are astronomical, just vast. And it's really, really painful to watch. And there are all those brave and courageous teachers out there doing phenomenal work. And just to get from today to tomorrow and do something sensible with the children that you've got in front of you for now, who knows for how long, is such a huge achievement. And no, lots of teachers are struggling with the need to provide education online as well, and the kind of teaching strategies that I recommend don't fit with that brilliantly. They're great for when you've got the chaotic classes who've all learnt different things and you've got them back in front of you. But as a maths teacher, I used to work with pre-written schemes online and teaching like this in class, and the two complemented each other beautifully. But it's a lot to take on board. It needs professional development, it needs time for teachers to reflect. So I'm just going to slog on with creating these videos, and then they'll be there for the future when people want them. In January, I have really got to go back to work and earn money because I can't live on air forever. So I'm going to get this lot done, and then hopefully I'll keep going at the rate maybe one video a week and still do the live streams and still stay in touch and keep it ticking over, but try and engage with the real world properly again. I do that anyway in my other job. I'm a county councillor and I'm working with all sorts of very stressful issues there, and I'll continue to do that too, at least until May when there's an election. Field post-lecture environment of informal staff room chat's a real miss. We just don't see each other, and it is a real miss. That's painful. It's just awful. Been working with a lot of the staff that we've got oversight of to make sure that they're going for walks together outside so that they can chat properly. They don't even like being... I mean, when we're having meetings, we're trying to create shoulder time for the gossip, but then some of them are stuck in front of computer screens all day, so that doesn't really work for them. But it is so important to create those chat spaces. So if you're not... Yeah. And if you've been watching these videos, I guess you would talk about them, and that's just not happening now. That's just good luck. I always chose to teach in the schools with the most challenges. So I became a secondary head of maths in a school with extreme challenges, while I was also a single mum. So I know those kinds of stress levels. I mean, we also had Ofsted in giving really stupid directions that caused chaos and destruction, and we had to pretend that they were actually helpful in order to get out of special measures, and we had to sort of massage the inspectors' egos and pretend that what they'd done had been helpful instead of just horrifically destructive. So I understand the kind of stress that people are under and how you live for the kids day in, day out. It's like being married to them. Just heart goes out to you. Maybe I'll go back in to teach, but I'm too much trouble these days. I don't fit, so I'm probably best just staying back. When I run teacher training, the professional development days, I'm able to put teachers into that space where they've time to relax and talk, and they love it. They absolutely love it. It's such precious, special time. That's one of the reasons for the live streams, because I can talk more authentically about what it's like. But of course, it's one way. I can't read people's faces. I can't watch and see the person that I need to talk to one-to-one during the break. When you put teachers into their thinking slow zones, all sorts of stuff comes out. They're not just talking about the maths teaching that the day is about. They talk about their lives. They talk about the other stresses, the behaviour of the kids. And we go there. It's really important to go there. And I've had teachers who are basically going through breakdowns, and because of the conversations we've had, they've been able to bottom out their journey and puzzle out a way forward. And it's nothing to do with primary maths. If you're an advisor and you're creating that precious time for teachers, you have to be a whole human being who can connect with whatever they throw at you. And in a way, I'm teaching teachers to teach children in the same way. When you teach maths using the strategies that I'm describing, the child engages with it fully, with everything they have and everything they are, and they bring more of themselves to the lesson, and you see them as a person. And the conversation goes on track and off track. And it's really, really sane and really healthy. You will hear a million voices telling you that you should have a pre-scripted lesson, and that a good lesson is one where all the children are on that pre-script all the time. Thank you. Excellent. Yeah, there's that in them as well. Some of them are just really clear explanations, but there is this culture to 16. Yeah. And then when you make that step out of that comfort zone to teaching children maths rather than teaching maths to children, you suddenly see how much better it is. And it's so difficult to describe because it's so difficult to put your finger on what that can mean. A lot of the time, it's just that the giving children their voice, they will go on and off topic. And when they're off topic, they're saying things that are meaningful too, that will help you know them, help you understand them, help you connect with their world, help you be a much better teacher. Now, I know a lot of brilliant teachers do that outside their maths, and that's one way to do that. And the maths can be drilled, but they're still connecting with the children outside the maths. But it's wonderful to do it through the maths too. So my videos can be just a little bit, a dot of CPD, but they're also a window to a different world of maths teaching that only exists in some schools now. Certainly exists in some schools in Cumbria, I know that well. And it tends to exist in the schools with many challenges that don't fit the mould, so the pre-written schemes don't work so well. And I go to hub meetings and conferences, and there's loads of people who are championing the Shanghai mastery. It's all fabulous. And then you get someone, a teacher in a corner, who's just saying, but we work with apparatus at our school and it just really works, and I don't want to change, and I can't put it into words, and I don't know why, but we don't want this. And I want to talk about that. And of course, then 2 years later, a new head comes in and imposes the Shanghai mastery, and it's all gone. So this whole channel is about capturing that world so that it's there if anybody wants it. But in the meantime, there's just the specific videos that are there when someone just wants to deeply understand a topic, and that has a good meaning in its own right too, I hope. We'll see. So I'm going to hang around for a minute or two, and then I'm going to go. My youngest is turning 12 today, and we're in Liverpool today. We were supposed to be in Cumbria. She was supposed to be out with her friends there, walking along rivers. She got it all planned. It's sunny up in Cumbria. It's not here, but we're locked down. We're locked down in Liverpool, and she can't meet up with any of her friends. So I think it's time to get on to Just Eat and see if there's somewhere we can order breakfast waffles to try and cheer up. If she's awake, of course. Now she's huge, she sleeps longer. But I think she'll be waking soon. I think she's still excited about potential presents. Took her on a trip to Asda and let her buy lots of little things that her friends would have given her if she'd had a party. We were still allowed to go to Asda. So we went to Asda Superstore at Aintree, and yeah. Any suggestions for cheering up a 12-year-old who's a huge social animal and can't see her friends on her birthday would be very welcome. But if you can't eat, it's better than me. Right. Have a good day. Eldest at Union just got COVID. It's a mad world. We just have to take it one day at a time and be reassured he should be fine. Fingers crossed. What do you do? Take care, Jane. Lovely to hear from you. See you next week. Hope. Bye for now.